Though you have been warned and given plenty of explanations, reasons to do otherwise, you have persisted to claim a life of joy and justice, to carve out this time, this space for the renewal of your own heart. Despite all the reasons, the resistance, fighting for your attention, luring you towards fear, you persist. To practice gratitude for this day, this life that has been given, this chance to begin again. And so let us gather that we might offer one another courage, strength, healing, hope, and this promise to persist in kindness, persevere in compassion. Good morning. My name is Heidi Gould. I am a white woman with short silver hair and glasses, wearing my yellow Side with Love t-shirt and black pants, and I am today's member of worship team with Ace, one of your worship associates for today. And Ace will be sharing words for the chalice lighting.
Good morning. I am Ardea Eichner, or Ace. I am a white young adult with frizzy hair, also wearing my yellow Side with Love shirt and a beautiful Easter egg colored stole. And we will light our chalice with these words titled The Soft, Stubborn Practice by Reverend Michelle Collins. Come to this time of worship, worn, weary, or wide awake. In this gathering, we acknowledge the pressure of living, the tender ache of persisting through uncertainty, the courage of continuing when clarity is distant. Yet here we are, still breathing, still reaching, still becoming. Today, let us embody resilience together, not as armor, but as the soft, stubborn practice of returning to ourselves, to one another, to the work of love.
Hey everybody, it's the Rev. Jen Youngsun Rue here. Sandy Lynn was supposed to do this part as the chair of our annual pledge drive, but her cold at the beginning of the week has turned into pneumonia. So Sandy, if you're home watching, I hope you get better soon. I am very happy to announce that we have so far received almost $212,000 toward our pledge goal. This year, instead of having a number goal, I mean, we will have a number goal, but the thermometer that we have on the office door, instead of tracking dollar numbers, this year we want to track participation. So far we have 54 households that have turned in their pledge cards, and we have a goal of 314 households. So we're getting there, But the point is that we want everyone to turn in a pledge card no matter what the dollar amount says. It can be zero. I'm sorry, I can't make a financial pledge this year, but I want to remain committed to this community and its work. It can be from that number all the way up to a big number. And anything in between. Let's try to get 100% participation this year for our pledge campaign. And now I want to introduce you to board member Michael. Come on up and tell us what's on your heart today.
So I was asked to talk for 2 minutes about why I give my time, talent, and treasure to the church. And I said, sure, I can do that. But after trying to do it, I realized I really need about 10 minutes. So relax. That's going to take a while. I told my wife I was going to do this, and she said, "Talent? What?" Anyway, the short of it is, I do it because it adds value to my life. After walking away from a Christian faith as a kid, I felt I didn't really have some grounding to give my children, and I joined the Unitarian Church in congregation in Salem about 35 years ago, and I was immediately drawn to the responsible search for truth and meaning from all sources. Sometimes over the years I've been very active. I've led committees, I've done fundraising, I've been an RE advisor. 2007, I was on the board for the first time. But I believe as we are social beings that we need community. The Sunday services, the dedications, memorials, celebrations of life, weddings, all these things help orient our lives in a sometimes chaotic world. I give because I value what we have together. And I know if I don't contribute to something, I'm not really part of it. Thank you.
Hi again. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church in Eugene. Welcome, Zoom friends. I'm so glad you are all with us today. I am also incredibly grateful to be a member of this beloved community and feel very blessed to have a minister and members who are so creative and can offer an inspiring message for Sunday mornings. I lack that gift of creativity when it comes to writing. So today I want to just share some info with you about Soul Matters. It's what we used to call at a tiny church. It's church in a box. It offers all the resources necessary to craft a Sunday service, whether it's the message of the morning, it's music, it's readings, it's prayers, and they also offer our monthly theme, which this February is resilience. So I utilize that resource, let me tell you. Another resource is Side with Love. It's not just a logo. It is the organizing strategy team of the UUA. And every year they offer 30 Days of Love, which is our annual celebration that runs approximately from Martin Luther King Jr. Day in January through Valentine's Day in February, with weekly offerings of spiritual nourishment, political grounding, and shared practices of faith and justice. This year's theme is Love at the Center, reimagining the world as it could be. At a time when fear, violence, and extraction dominate our politics and our planet, we practice another way. We believe love is not fragile, it is fierce. It grounds our organizing, fuels our imagination, and sustains our communities. Over these 5 weeks, we have been moving through a journey from imagination to action, rooting our freedom dreams in faith and bringing them to life in our world. Adam Odell is the Music Resources Coordinator for Soul Matters, and he writes on his participation in the protests. Flowers on pepper ball stains. On October 24th, a collection of UU ministers from the greater Chicago area and I led a flower communion ritual outside the Broadview Ice Processing Facility, juxtaposing the murder of Norbert Chopek by the Nazis against the inhumane conditions inside the facility. We led a crowd of protesters in the exchange of flowers while singing "There is More Love Somewhere." We also sang songs like "We Shall Not Be Moved," "Circle Round for Freedom," and "All You Fascists Bound to Lose." It was a firm statement of our anger and our love. two things often placed in opposition to one another, but that have a clear, meaningful relationship in the face of unspeakable justice. We will not stand for injustice and inhumanity, but we will not sacrifice our love in the name of anger. In fact, it is that very love that keeps us going. He says, I was reminded of this past week while demonstrating at the Broadview again with a different collective. The flowers we passed out the previous week had been used to decorate the fence along the perimeter of the free speech zone that local police have established. A tool of separation had been covered in a symbol of beauty, individuality, and love. On that day in Broadview, protesters used a reinforced banner to retake the ground which police had blockaded to allow ICE vehicles to enter and exit the premises without being identified. While we did not push into the ground being held in real time by police, we were shot with pepper balls and threatened with batons. Nevertheless, we persisted. With a group of protesters holding the line, we led a singing circle and a dance party. We blew bubbles and drew chalk art on the street which had been previously blocked, and Reverend David Black, a local Presbyterian minister, gave a sermon to the Illinois State Police as they guarded the entrance to the facility. At one moment, he was handed a flower by another protester, and at the end of the segment of his sermon on Beatitudes, thank you. Blessed are the peacemakers. He placed the flower at the feet of the ISP, who responded by brandishing their batons and forming an even tighter line. As the day went on, the crowd stood firm, and we took a few flowers from the fence and placed them along the spots in the road where pepper balls had been fired. I am firmly of the belief that the peaceful protesters gave a much more honorable display of resilience that day. We sang through coughing. We danced through streets patrolled by men in riot gear. We poured love into concrete stained by chemical agents. We were angry that day. We remain angry. But anger alone is not a sustaining emotion. Alone, it is weak, cowardly, and without moral conviction. It was a love that sustained us that day, and it is love that will carry us forward. That love was carried through our singing, through our dancing, through our drumming. Used well, it will create and sustain peace more than any crowd control device could ever dream of. I wanted to share that reading with you to show that our feelings are shared nationwide, worldwide. Our actions are shared by others across the country and across the world. And how we can face these tough times with love, through love, and dance and sing and bring flowers. To mobilize through action, with action, in action. That was an excellent story, Tina. I do so appreciate it, and it gave so many ideas. If you are already engaged in protesting and showing up on the streets in the various ways that you can be engaged in this protest, thank you. If you're not engaged yet, if you want to be engaged, I would suggest that the very first step of engagement is taking stock in yourself, your capabilities, where you are at today, what it is you are able to do. Not everybody can show up on the streets. I myself am grateful that the schedule of protests at the federal building are shared on the back of the bulletin today. But I work. And when I get home from work, even if it's a 6-hour day, I'm exhausted. The way I contribute is through postage that I purchase and postcards and letters that I send. I write letters to the president, honestly asking him to resign. I printed postcards that I send to the minority leaders in Congress and just to our representatives and senators. I print these off at work and I put postage on them and send them. In mail, whether it's letters or postcards, it blocks up the system and it gets noticed. I want to put out major kudos in preparing for this message today. I was watching videos from Side with Love this morning on Mobilizing Action, and I want to say that Eugene, Oregon got a shout out for our action towards ending the contract with Avelo at the airport to end their contract for deportation flights. Yes. So again, take stock in where you are, what you can do, and participate to the best of your ability. If you don't know where to start, look around. Ask any one of us, especially those wearing our shirts. And there are so many resources as to what you can do, how you can start, where you are. Thank you so much for all that you do and for being an inspiration to me. Thank you.
Now, Heidi and I will read To Embody Resilience as Easily as We Breathe by Reverend Dr. Rebecca Savage. Spirit of life, spirit of love,
Eternal mystery beyond and within,
receive the meditations of our hearts and prayers this day.
we acknowledge that so much of this experience of being human
Dances in complexity, challenge, and heartbreak.
we acknowledge that there is so much that we carry each day.
The ways others have let us down,
It made us feel overlooked,
unappreciated, not fully welcomed as who and how we are.
we name for ourselves that to be human, finite beings in an infinite universe
Is to exist in a world that can be cruel, all too cruel, and that sometimes
we sip from bitter cups of cruelty and pass it on to others.
sometimes we fall short of remembering that we live in a sacred interdependence.
And that our strength, our wisdom, our kindness, compassion, and grace
Are all blessings in the service of the greatest good.
with humility may we reflect on our shortcomings and with gentle hearts seek that deeper path of living.
Through forgiveness and generosity of heart,
Spirit of life, transcendent holy essence around and within us all.
help us this day to fully embrace that we are a people of faith,
And that we believe that another world is possible and is already here.
within us, if only we choose to return to that hopeful possibility again and again and again.
To be resilient is to proclaim that our love and legacies of love shall endure and make changes in our lives, our families, community, and our world.
May we embody resilience each time we persevere.
May we embody resilience as easily as we breathe.
May our resilience create ripples of possibility for those who seek us.
As beacons for sanctuary and liberation.
Amen,
and may it be so. One of the best examples I've seen of mobilizing action is the No Kings March. No Kings is scheduled for the third march on March 28th. Wanted to share that with you. Be there, be square. We have blessed each other with word and song. We have embraced the greater truth of our resilience, one that is terrifying to systems that would keep us isolated, afraid, and angry. For when we come together, we remember who we are and whose we are. We are a living tradition of people who love fiercely, serve mightily, and journey humble with the spirit of life. May we depart in peace. May we depart as beloveds held together in spiritual community. Wherever we are, wherever we go, may resilience cascade within us until we are together again. Go in peace, go in love, and hey, be careful out there.